The future is ours for the creating. It is made up of how we spend our time, money, and energy, now with our presence. The most precious resources we have are our creativity, intuition, and the untapped human potential that lives in all of us. Let's be both bold and sensitive and use this to create the most beautiful future. We were made for these times, and each one of us can dig a little deeper into our excellence, our resourcefulness, our humanity, and our hearts. What a gift to be alive at this moment in time, where our lives and our global future is so interconnected. What is your one wild and precious life asking from you? Hello, Happy New Year. It's late at night on New Year's Day where I am, and I got a stirring to mark this new decade and share something with all of you. I hadn't planned to do another one of these solo episodes, and yet it felt right. There is so much talk over what it means to enter a new decade, and I see lots of reminiscing on social media of what this decade has been for you, or what has shifted in the last 10 days. Reflection comes so naturally at this time, and that reframing of what I want to create and give in this new decade. I was thinking about my own journey. For the noughties were my 20s and were very much focused on quote unquote saving the world. I had such a deep desire to make the world a better place, and I worked on some great projects in politics, tech, and sustainability. I had my ethical jewelry label, and I worked on great projects with naivety and such optimism and drive. I spent much of that decade as an advocate for sustainable fashion and did a lot of volunteer work along the way. I also had a lot of fun. I never wanted a normal life. I wanted something extraordinary. I wanted to travel and party and have unforgettable experiences. I had so much fun, and I felt like I was making a difference. I felt that I was really living. I felt in flow in many areas of my life. I was confident and feisty. I had some really difficult moments in that decade, such as witnessing my friend's death and my other big accidents. And I found ways to heal with my spirituality opening, my cynicism fading, and a sense of a higher purpose. I was burning the candle at both ends, working hard, playing hard, and driven by a force so much bigger than me. When the next decade started, I had began this project as Think Out Vote in 2010. I wanted to inspire us all to be more, to take part in more, to not be passive consumers, but to take control of our future and create it how we wanted to. That's still what this whole project is about in many ways. And I hope that each one of you that listens to the podcast has learned something about the world, something more about the world, and felt an empowerment in your place inside of it. On a personal level, something began to crack in the early parts of this decade. I had this way of always being able to shift my perspective to see the gift in all my experiences, especially the challenges, and I had an unwavering confidence and optimism about what was possible, not only in my own life, but for all of us collectively. Several things happened, and this began to crack. I totally burnt out and was physically unwell as well as exhausted. I'd always been interested in spirituality and personal development before, but it was a means to an end. And once I was back on track, I'd find that I'd go back to the habits that weren't serving me until I needed to shift the focus again. I wanted to create more balance in my life. And so in 2012, I realized that I needed to make my spirituality and my relationship with myself the center of my life and have my work come from that. When I made that decision, so much changed so fast. They always say that when the student's ready, the teachers appear. And they did, and they worked me hard and opened up so much inside of me. I decided to stop drinking without the support of AA or anything. I'd taken a year off when I was 25, and I'd given up many things I felt were no longer in tune with who I was at that time. But I'd slipped back, and the London professional world I was in was a boozy one. I just went from drinking every day to not drinking during the week to not drinking at all. I'd since had many years off, but now I drink when I feel like it. For me, it works not to have rules about it, but to be in tune to what I want in the moment and what serves me the best. The space that brought into my life gave me so much time and energy to practice yoga and meditation regularly. I'd been into them for a long time, especially yoga, but I'd often not made it a priority. I started to dance 5 rhythms and find that that freedom in my expression and my body. I had no intention of ever teaching or facilitating or doing anything related to this. I wanted my work to stay in social change and politics, but then I had to listen to what was happening. I did multiple trainings, over 1,000 hours of yoga teacher trainings, meditation teacher trainings, deep work on the psyche and the subconscious, went to as many workshops as I could, studied deeply with great teachers, traveled to temples and sacred sites, spent 2 years studying with a mystic, and at some point it became clear to me, and I was nudged by my teachers to realize that this was my work to hold space for others to go through this transformation. That my interest and excitement for our human potential, for how we can be more, for how we can transform our pain into beauty, for how we can discover incredible things about ourselves and about others around us and about what is possible in this world. I step back from various outward changing projects and I focus on holding space for connection and transformation. I found ways to live more simply, to be more subtle, and to break many of the attachments to the material world. Many of you know that for a few years now, I haven't had a set home and I've been traveling, being in different parts of the world, sharing through workshops and retreats, and living in a way where I don't always know where I'm going to be very far in advance. I know that this isn't how I'm going to live forever, but for right now, it's been really opening up both a space of epic growth through the challenges that come with it and so much opportunity with what I find presents itself to me. Life felt like that Rumi quote, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I'm changing myself. This rang true to me, that we need to heal ourselves and our trauma in order to be able to do anything in the world that comes through a clean intention. Now I feel it's more complex than that, but we love complexity on this show. How can we both use our lives, our material existence, to have a positive impact on the world we find ourselves in, and to heal and transform on the inside so that we are shifting reality on the subtle levels? For any of you that have been or are going through the process of awakening, you will know that it isn't easy. It's actually really messy. What starts as amazing hacks to tweak life turns into something that opens you up fully, sometimes breaking you apart and then putting you back together. Yet every time you come back together, you're reformed. There is more of you. You have found more of your potential. Of course, you could choose to stay at the level where the practices simply enhance life. That's a respectable place to live from, especially if you have a mission in this world that isn't about consciousness. As someone who holds space for others' awakenings, some of the experiences that I've had this past decade, both inner and outer, unbelievable. Things I would not have thought to be possible. It's been extremely challenging at times and beautiful in indescribable ways. For me, much of this past decade has been a deep, deep inner journey, some of which you've shared with me this past 2 years through these conversations and this community. And over the last months, I felt a deeper integration in myself, where the woman I was in the noughties and the woman that I've been this past decade come together more seamlessly, where sensitivity and feistiness can live together, where focus and flow can coexist, where kindness, optimism, and determination can create physical reality. I don't ever want to stop learning and evolving. Any notions of there being a point in life we get to where we stagnate is not for me. I'm so inspired by those who push boundaries with wild souls, intelligent minds, and enormous hearts. Those that don't age exactly, but they just get better. They become more themselves in the most extraordinary ways. They keep living. They keep exploring more of their potential. It's never too late for any of us. We could be healthier and fitter in our physical bodies next year than we've ever been at any point in our lives. We can find more peace and focus in our minds this year than we've ever known possible in our lives. We can feel our emotions and have an emotional intelligence that we have never had before in our lives until now. That's something that is alive for me this decade. We can't afford to play small anymore, but to take steps to open up more of our potential. The future is ours for the creating. It is made up of how we spend our time, money, and energy now with our presence. The most precious resources we have are our creativity, intuition, and the untapped human potential that lives in all of us. Let's be both bold and sensitive and use this to create the most beautiful future. We were made for these times, and each one of us can dig a little deeper into our excellence, our resourcefulness, our humanity, and our hearts. What a gift to be alive at this moment in time where our lives and our global future is so interconnected. What is your one wild and precious life asking from you? It seems like a lot of personal development, goal setting, and manifestation is all about control. What do I want? How can I create it? How can I control who I am or what I say or the way I behave or the outcome of my pursuits? However, control can stifle everything and can keep us stuck, damage our relationships, and limit our creativity. It can keep us focused on only one part of our lives rather than all of it. It all needs to flourish. It's actually about this very delicate balance between focus and trust, between discipline and relaxing, between effort and surrender. That is what I'm sharing through the work that I offer. Spaces to explore the nuances here, spaces to come into deep relationship with your intuition and your creativity, spaces to tap into the potential that is dormant inside of you, spaces to be supported and accepted as who you are in this very moment before and during any of these shifts take place, space to transform patterns inside of you that you thought would not be possible. I feel a new stirring in this decade towards the extraordinary, to find deeper resilience and courage in myself and to empower all that I work with to be part of creating both a beautiful life and the beautiful future. I have found the most supportive practice you can do is meditate. There are 2 meditations I've shared with Presence Collective, which I believe are extremely helpful. One of them is the Cultivating Presence practice, which I also shared on the podcast last episode. And the other is from Rituals for Wellbeing and includes a number of different techniques backed by science that can improve happiness, productivity, and most importantly, connection with yourself, your fellow humans, and the earth we live on. It includes, in just 15 minutes, greeting the day, connecting to your feelings and where you are, presencing, mudras, heart awareness and expansion, compassion and awareness of all living beings, pranayama, which is breath work, gratitude, offering of niggles and letting go, visioning the future, both personal and collective, visioning the day and connecting into the flow, planting seeds inside of yourself, and connection to something bigger and a blessing. It's a very powerful meditation that if you do every day, I imagine will create great shifts for you. I hate to say that this practice or this course or this podcast or this mentoring program will change your life, because honestly, it's up to you. All I can do ever is to share the most incredible tools. And then it's all about how you use them and how you show up for yourself and for others and for the collective. The way in which you allow yourselves to be opened in ways that you did not think were possible before. I highly recommend coming and joining us on Presence Collective. For those of you that don't know, it's our sister membership platform to this podcast. There, we explore the themes on this podcast and practices and tools in which to live them. Honestly, it's a school fit for the times we live in. It fills in the skills, wisdom, and ways of looking at the world we weren't taught in school and aren't part of the dominant culturescape, but are so key for a thriving and contributive life. These are the skills and wisdom that I believe we need to hold ourselves and those around us in the chaos of these times. This is the place where healing meets purpose. There is a monthly fee which you can choose based on what you can afford, and you receive a monthly workshop on a theme, a monthly video call with me and the other members, access to our chat group, our book club, a weekly contemplation question, and a monthly tree whisper. If you want to start this new year and this decade meditating, you'll receive the past workshops too, well, everyone does, which can help you with everything you need to get started to meditate and other rituals for well-being you can bring into your daily life. I'm still offering a complimentary intuitive therapy session for those who join this week on an annual membership. My sessions are one-to-one personal sessions where we take a block that you're struggling with and we find the root cause of it, and then we clear it out through the layers of our system, opening up your perspectives, and then plant new seeds of what you want to open and grow in yourself. They are beautiful and powerful and can be done from anywhere in the world as we do a video call. Remember that by joining Presence Collective, you also get to be part of an amazing community, and you're supporting the making of this podcast. Another way to support us is to become a monthly patron, which you can do and find out more about if you click on community on our website. For Presence Collective, click on courses. You can buy each theme as a standalone course if you don't feel called to be a member. All of this is available at www.thefutureisbeautiful.co. I'm also opening applications right now for Presence Mentoring, which is my one-to-one mentoring program, which we do over 6 months. This allows you to really shift deep patterns and open your relationship with your intuition, as well as make shifts in your habits, deepen your practices, and find your unique path of sacred activism and leadership. You can find out more about that by visiting my mentoring page on www.amisha.co.uk. Again, you can take part in this from anywhere in the world. I would love to invite you to start a meditation practice with me this year, and know that we are all meditating together through this year and freeing ourselves to live a more liberated life and create a more beautiful future. I am excited for what we all may become. We will return next week with an interview as usual. After the intro music today, I've decided to share our most recent tree whisper from Presence Collective. I normally only reserve these for our members. They are special messages that I record when I'm out in nature. I hope that it inspires you. I recorded it between Christmas and New Year whilst walking through a London park with a dear friend. I look forward to getting to know you all much more this year, and thank you again for your time and support, and for all the wonderfulness this amazing global community brings into all our lives. As ever, please keep sharing the podcast with your friends, telling them about it, sharing your favorite episodes on social media, writing us a review on iTunes, and of course, supporting us through patronage or Presence Collective membership and getting to know us. And please do write in and let us know what is moving for you. I always love to hear from you. Thank you again, and let's create a most beautiful future together. Welcome to The Future is Beautiful, with me, your host, Amisha Ghadiali. On this show, we explore the weave between politics, spirituality, creativity, and sustainability. It's time for us to move beyond silos and into an integrated way of being. Every one of us has ideas and personal experiences to share that can lead us to a brighter future. This is the revolution. Despite the challenges we face as a global community, or the pressures that we meet in our daily lives, when we stop and dare to dream, to ask ourselves the big questions, and to share what we are already doing, we create the future that we wish to wake up for. That future is beautiful. Listen to the beauty of your own heartbeat. Many others will tell you what they think you should do, who they think you should be. We don't need more followers. We need people that are rooted into themselves, rooted into the earth, connected to the cosmos, and able to listen to the intelligence that lies within and that moves through. There are amazing tools and there is great wisdom And these things can point you somewhere. They can hold you. They can make it all more possible. But when you really learn to listen, you may find you do things that are nonsensical to the outside view. But you know that it's right for you. Learn to trust that voice. Learn to hear that voice. The more you listen, the louder the voice gets. Believe in the beauty of who you are. Believe in the deepest possibilities of this moment. Free yourself to sing like these birds, to move like this wind. We have the answers inside of ourselves, and this next decade will be a dance. It will be a dance between that which has already been created and that which you will create. It's your choice. Create or be created. Listen to your own heartbeat. Listen to the beauty of your soul. Let it move you. In the direction that is for you. Free yourself of the chains. As we move into this next decade, the chains will get bigger. The chains will get stronger. The chains will be sneakier. And so, it's up to you. Do you want to be free? Do you want to live your life? Do you want to trust in the beauty of being here? I hear the whispers. You hear them too. Learn to trust that voice. Learn to know what you know. And with it, keep your curiosity. As everything's always moving, evolving, shifting. Nothing stays static and still for long. Free yourself so you can evolve and shift and move with it. And through that freedom, you find where you belong. Thank you for spending your precious time with us. As always, you can find links to everything we mention in this episode, download our book, and discover so much more over on the blog. We don't believe in selling you things you don't need through this podcast, and so it's made possible with you, our community. If you loved this and would like to fund our show with a monthly donation or join our online group to connect with other listeners, please visit www.thefutureisbeautiful.co and click on Community and Support. Please also share with friends, hit subscribe, and leave us a review so we can grow. Those gold stars really help others find us, so these ideas can spread. Here is to us, creating a beautiful future together. The Future is Beautiful is made by an all-female team working voluntarily or on reduced rates until our listeners' support grows. If you have been moved by anything you heard here, please donate the equivalent of buying us a drink. All donations make a huge difference to us and will allow us to keep doing this and remain advertising free. Until next time, I leave you with this question: how will you create beauty in the world?